Hey there folks, Mr. G here with another educational video. This is part 2 of our walkthrough for the team and all the other sort of beginning of quarter stuff for Foundations 12. Now, last time we talked a little bit about the different channels here, how they work, what sort of stuff you can find in each of them. For this video, we're going to be focusing on some of the files that you can find in our team. So we're going to go to Files, Class Materials, click on the Grades, Marking, and Course Outline folder. And then for this one, we're going to be focusing on the course outline. So you should already have a copy of this. I printed it out and gave it to you yesterday. If you weren't there yesterday or you've lost it or forgotten it, don't worry too much about that. You can either click on this to view it, or if you click the little check mark, you can download it and then print it for yourself, whatever you'd like, or you can just come see me. I can print you off a copy as well. Once you download it, print it, or otherwise open it, you should see something that looks a little bit like this. So we've got all of the Lord Big information, Foundations of Mathematics 12, or FOM, FOM. That's an abbreviation I'll use a lot when talking about the course. So equipment and materials, pretty standard stuff. Bring a notebook, so something to write in, usually some lined paper, hopefully a binder would be helpful, somewhere to keep notes and materials and keep track of all of that. Pencils, colored pens, though pencils is definitely the one that you want the most. Straight edge, so a ruler or something to draw straight lines with. A scientific calculator is going to be very, very important here. Hopefully you already have one from some of your previous math courses. If you're not sure if your scientific calculator works or not, come talk to me, we can figure that out. Lastly, we've got our workbook, so the Foundations 12 workbook that you can pay online using School Cash Online. We are not accepting cash or checks or anything else for this year. We're trying to keep it all online. So make sure you've paid that. If you're not sure if you've paid it or not, come talk to me. I can check the list and see if there's anything you need to do. Next thing to talk about is marking. So throughout this course, it's going to look a little bit different than maybe your typical math course. And we're going to talk about this in more detail in video 3, so the next video here. But one of the things that I'm going to be using here is a proficiency scale. So this proficiency scale has 4 levels, I guess technically 5 with incomplete. But we have incomplete, beginning, developing, accomplished, and exemplary. So incomplete, you have not shown initial understanding. Beginning, you've shown some beginning understanding. Developing, you're doing reasonably well. You've shown you understand some stuff, but there's definitely some gaps in your knowledge. Accomplished, good, solid understanding. Exemplary, you've really shown that you have a sophisticated mastery of whatever that we're working on. And we're going to be using this scale when we're talking about the curricular competencies, which we'll get to in a sec here. At the end of the day, this is a senior course, so this is going to get converted into a percentage. There'll be more details about this in part 3, but here are some rough percentage ranges for each of these proficiency scale things. In terms of the content that we're going to be going over, so in the course in its entirety, these are kind of the 6 main units that are done. For me, I usually focus on the first 3 here, and because we're in a COVID year, we might only get to the first 2. We'll see what happens, but because we're on such a shortened timeline, we'll probably only get to permutations, combinations, and probability. Here's my email if you ever need to reach out to me. Another key tip, if you forgot this email or maybe your course outline goes missing, if you go to our class team and you go to my face right here and you hover over it, you'll see a little pop-up comes out, and there's my email right there. Now we talked a little bit about the curricular competencies. I mentioned them earlier here. They are 4 skills related to mathematics, and this is going to be the basis for our marking and our assessment. Again, more details to come in the next video, but the 4 main skills are reasoning and modeling, understanding and solving, communicating and representing, reflecting and connecting. If you want more information on what this looks like or what these mean, again, video 3 will go over it in more detail, but you can actually go to these 2 links right here. They're Government of BC websites that go through how these curricular competencies relate to mathematics and some of the skills that are involved with them. So if you want to check out these links, you can just click on them right here, or just type it in to, or you can just search them up. On the back side here, I don't have a lot of policies and procedures when it comes to the classroom. I want students to contribute to a positive learning environment. I want you to respect yourselves, respect others, give everyone an opportunity to learn. And I've got kind of 2 guiding principles that, or quotes, or things that I like to go off of. So the first here is to be thoughtful and be respectful. So if we're being thoughtful, thinking of ourselves and others in the space that we're in, we're being respectful of ourselves and others, generally we don't need a whole lot of rules to manage our behavior. And that kind of brings us to the second point here, Rule 0. This is something from Adam Savage, who you might recognize the name from Mythbusters. He's the kind of red-haired guy. He has something that he uses in all of his production shops and everything like that is Rule 0. So before, if you think about a list of rules, Rule 1, 2, 3, 4. Rule 0, the rule that comes before all of that is don't make me make a rule. So if we're being thoughtful and being respectful, I probably won't have to make a lot of rules. So don't make me. If something becomes an issue, though, I guess we'll have to make a rule. In terms of attendance, we are going to be having regular classes on the days that you're face-to-face, so every day that you're face-to-face. On the weeks that you are not face-to-face, you're going to be coming in during flex time. I'm thinking Tuesdays and Thursdays during flex, depending on whether you're in the morning or the afternoon. If you have to be absent for any of those classes, whether it's flex time or regular classes, you need to make sure that you're sending an email to me from your parents or from your guardians, including a reason for your absence. I expect you to arrive on time with all the materials you need. The materials, like I mentioned, are up on the top here. Make sure that you're bringing your workbook, bringing your notebook, bringing something to write with, bringing your calculator. You should be good to go. In terms of the work responsibility, with our hybrid quarterly system, as I'm sure you're aware, it can be really tough. You're going to be between remote and in-class learning. Everything's going to be kind of at an accelerated pace. So it's really important that you're checking teams every single day for expected work, upcoming assessments, deadlines. And this is especially true when you're remote, so when you're not coming in every day. Luckily, we have a little bit more time during flex time that you're going to be coming in, so more regular check-ins, which will be good. But it is still really important that you're checking teams every single day to make sure that you're keeping up to date with whatever's going on. Parents, you're encouraged to follow along as well. So feel free to check in and see what's going on in the classes. Like I said before, we're trying to complete an entire year of math in about 9 weeks, so 1 quarter. So everything is super compressed. It's going super fast. So it's really important that you keep up with what's going on, because if you fall behind, it's really tough. And I'm sure you've experienced this throughout the quarterly system. So make sure you're checking in with me. If you feel like you're falling behind or you're not sure if you're doing everything you need to do, contact me. So see me in class, send me an email, post something on Teams, and I'd be happy to meet with you and figure stuff out. In terms of attendance for tests, very similar to attendance in general. Make sure that you notify me, ideally in advance. Make sure it's a parent or a guardian, and then we can figure out a time for makeup tests or anything like that. Cheating is a very serious offense. I'm sure you've heard this many, many times throughout high school. So plagiarism, cheating, copying off of another person, this is pretty serious and it's taken seriously. And it can result in disqualification from awards like scholarships. So make sure that you're not doing that. I feel like in grade 12 you've probably gotten this talk a number of times, so you know the deal. I mentioned that if you feel like you're falling behind or you want some help with whatever it is we're working on, make sure that you come see me as soon as possible. The best place and best time is in class, so A100 during class time, during flex time, whenever you're around. You can also contact me via Teams. You can send me an email. Just make sure you're reaching out if you feel like you need some help, some support, or you just want to check in. The last thing that you have to do with this course outline here is at the very bottom. This is just a contact sheet. So this is for both you and your parent or guardian. So you fill out your name, your signature, basically saying that you read everything, and same with your parent or guardian. And then just put your email and your parent's email. These are technically in MyEd, though in my experience I've found that oftentimes either the student or the parent emails aren't updated. So I like to just make sure that I have an email for you and an email for your parent that I know I can get in touch with you, especially because we're not going to be seeing each other as often with the quarterly system. So fill out this bottom part here, and then just on this little dotted line, you can cut it off, but then hang on to the rest of this course outline, put it in your binder, put it in your book, wherever you want to keep it so it doesn't go missing. That's the end of our second video here. For part 3, we're going to be talking a little bit more about this marking, how this is going to work in my classroom, and what you can expect throughout the quarter in terms of the types of assessments and how they're going to be assessed. See you all in the next video.